And keep that applause going for Julia. Here she comes, everybody. Keep it going.
Thank you. You might have seen these signs in the bathroom tonight, don't flush tampons, etc., down the toilet. And I judged women my whole life. Like, who are these monsters flushing this stuff down the toilet? There's signs everywhere. Until one day, I was backed into a corner, and I had to flush a tampon down a toilet. And I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes telling you about that experience. I'm an exchange student in Argentina after high school, and honestly, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life next, so instead of starting college, I deferred it a year and did an extra year of high school, like cool kids do. And I'm living in Argentina in this rural area of Jujuy, and I only know one other American exchange student named Kira, so we buddy up because we're the only people who speak English, and we have this in common. And one evening, we're invited to this dinner at the Rotary International Club president's house. That's who's sponsoring us exchange students in town. And Kira and I are really excited because it's like a rich person in a nice part of town, and we're like, this will be cool to see how the other half lives and enjoy her dinner. And all we have to do is show up, eat dinner around all these older business people, and then briefly say a few lines in Spanish to show we're learning. Like, hola, soy Julia, me gusta jugar tenis. That was as far as I'd gotten at that point. So we start, I'm a responsible 18-year-old girl, happened to have my period that day. I stick a tampon in, the clock countdown begins. But I know I got like 4 hours, until we need to do a change. I'm including the details because I want everyone to know. 4 hours, is good. So we take all these buses to get to this rich part of town, and the rich part of town doesn't let the bus drop you off right in front of a mansion. So once we get off the bus, we begin the trek of like a half mile to a mile to get to this person's house. And she's so, well-to-do that she has staff that opens the door for us. And we are not dressed appropriately for this fancy dinner because it's the early aughts, and we have baggy jeans that are wet at the bottom and little t-shirts, but we're like, this is gonna be great. What an exciting evening. And we're shown to the little waiting room before dinner. Then we are moved into the grand dining room, and it's exactly what we expect. It's a large dining table with older businessmen and this businesswoman at the front, and we are the guests of honor. We're seated next to one another, and unfortunately, because we're obnoxious teens, we're rudely whispering in English to one another because we can't fully follow the conversation. And we're being given course after course by the wait staff this woman has employed for dinner. And midway through the meal, I have that sense where something inside of me drops, and I know it's full, and I need to change it. But that's okay. I'm prepared. I've had my period since I was 12, and I know what to do. So I ask in Spanish, ¿Dónde está el baño? And they point behind me to show me the door. And even at that young age, I think, this is a nice house. I'm surprised the bathroom door is literally right next to this huge banquet dining table. But sure, why not? And I go into the bathroom, and I change my tampon, and I do what you do. I take some toilet paper, and I wrap it like a little present, and I look for a trash can, and that's when I see there is no basura in el baño. There's no trash can for this tampon. And I'm like, this woman invited me to her home. How is there's a decorative dog statue in the corner, but there's nowhere to put your bathroom trash. And I look at the tampon and I think, well, today's the day. I'm just, some people flush these, and so I'll flush a tampon one time. Who's gonna know? So I put the tampon in the toilet, I flush it. And then immediately the water brims over the toilet and floods the bathroom floor. And in my mind, I am whispering to myself, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. What do I do? Do I just get on a bus and go back to America and pretend this never happened and just go to college, figure it out, find a job, find a husband, live my life? I'm going through every step. And then I say, calm down, Julia, you're an adult now. You have to figure this out. So I take some toilet paper, I clean up the floor the best I can. The waterlogged tampon I now have. I know I cannot flush it, it will not flush. And so I put it in my pocket. And I know the moment I open the bathroom door, everyone will be sitting at the dining table to turn to see who has re-entered the room. So I get into character like nothing just happened. I open the door. Inevitably, everyone turns to look at me, and I nod, like everything's fine. And then I take my seat at the table. And Kira, my exchange student friend, turns to me, and she can tell something is off. And she says, "What happened in there? Something's weird." And I don't even know what to say, and so I pull the tampon out of my pocket to show it to her. And she says, "We'll figure this out." And I'm like, do I put it on one of the dining courses when the waiters are taking it? And I'm like, that's rude. No. And so finally it's our turn to speak. And the exchange woman says, "Tell us something about yourselves." So in broken Spanish, I begin to say, "My name is Julia. I have always wanted to be a chef. I've enjoyed this dinner, and I'd like to meet the person who made it this evening." And the woman looks confused, but has me shown to the kitchen. I walk into the kitchen, immediately see a trash can, open it, throw out the tampon, and close it. But now I have to pretend like I wanted to be in this kitchen. So I proceed to take a tour of this kitchen. I return to dinner like everything's fine. And a few weeks later at a Rotary meeting, we have a follow-up with this group of business people. And the woman tells me, "Julia, I remember how passionate you were about becoming a chef. And so I've signed you up to take cooking classes for the next several weeks with some professional chefs here in Jujuy." And because I did not know what to say or how to get out of this situation, I proceeded to take those classes for the following 3 months of my time. All because I did not know what to do with a waterlogged tampon. Thank you very much.
Julia. My goodness.